Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we've got an interesting little project to do. Today we've got a single overhead cam 2-liter neon engine on the engine stand, and we're going to degree the camshaft. I've degreed camshafts on V8s before, and I did do one on an 8-valve K-car engine one time, but this will be a first for one of these. And the procedure may be a little clunky because I'm kind of learning as I go. But we'll figure it out. We'll get through it together. A little background on why we are doing this. Number one, you have to make sure, you have to confirm that the factory marks on all your sprockets and pulleys and stuff are actually accurate. So even on a stock rebuild, just to make sure that your stock camshaft is straight up, it's a good thing to do. Especially on these overhead cam engines. If you mill the head or resurface the head at all, the head gets lower and it actually will retard your camshaft a little bit. So we need to make sure of all that. Like to guarantee that the camshaft is where we want it to be. You can also use cam degreeing for tuning purposes. You can advance the camshaft a few degrees, and that will promote low-end power. It'll move your torque curve lower in the RPM, 200 or 300 RPM in the RPM range. You can retard the camshaft, and that will move your torque peak up in the RPM range. So something like this stock car, we want the engine to make its most power from 5,000 RPM up. So we're going to be retarding the cam 4 degrees. Many aftermarket camshafts come with 4 degrees of advance kind of built into them. The camshaft we're using is basically a copy of a Magnum camshaft, and it does not have any advance ground into it. So we are going to be setting it at 4 degrees retarded. Now we've got the front of it put together. Because I've been removing material from the cylinder head and stuff, we're going to have to degree in the cam. So I've gone with this adjustable timing gear. And I've gone with the second generation Neon Lightens. They call it a Lightens timing belt tensioner. I've always used these on all of them rather than the old hydraulic one that used to go up here. Me personally, I just find these easier. So how you adjust this is, you see it's got the little tension spring there, and there's a slot cut in it, and there's this pointer. So you can either line up the slot in it with the tail of the spring or the pointer with that groove. Either works. So we're going to go. And that, just like that, that's perfectly set. Now, these 2 bolts here are just temporarily installed while we set this up, because they have to come out, because when we put the front motor mount on, the great big long bolts go through there. So these are, all 4 of them are in and torqued. Now we can pull these ones back out. And you can see here, we're not too far off. It changed it a little bit, or although we don't know what position that is in. So anyway, we're going to go ahead now and get the degree wheel out and get this thing set up. Now we're going to turn it around a couple of turns and make sure our tension stays, because the belt may shift a little bit on the pulleys. And we'll bring her back up. Top dead center, number 1. And it went pretty much right back to dead 0. So long as that's accurate. Like I said, the degree wheel will tell us, and we can see here our adjustment is still good. So we're all set there. And this here, by the way, is a blue Gates racing timing belt. I've had this thing for years. This thing has been in a lot of engines, I'll tell you, and it's survived. It survived a lot of blow-ups. Now we're ready to degree our camshaft. So what we got to do is get our degree wheel bolted to the end of the crank. Don't fret if you haven't got one of these. You can actually print one out on the internet, and you just glue it to a piece of whatever you've got kicking around and put it on there. Then we need to make up some kind of pointer. Don't worry about what it's pointing at right now. It does not matter. So what we're going to do now is find the actual top dead center of the engine, not going by the marks. So we made a piston stopper here. Sorry, my bad machine work. It's not exactly straight, but it's in there solid. That's all that matters. So we're going to turn the engine 180 degrees away from top dead center to put number 1 at bottom dead center. Like that. Now we can screw this thing in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is turn the engine. Oh, what we have to do is put this thing at, do I put it at 0 now? No, I do not. Bear with me. It's been a long time since I've done this. We're going to turn the engine backwards till the piston contacts the stopper. There. And take note of what we're at. You can see there 50, pretty much 50 degrees, right? Deb says 50, 48. Okay, 48. You can see here, 48 before top dead center. So we're going to mark that down. Now we're going to turn it all the way back around until it hits again. What have we got there?
I think 48 again.
No, it's more like 47. So 47. So 48 and 47. This is pretty much a moot point. This is easy to figure out. Is 95 divided by 2 is 47 and a half. So basically what we've done is halfway in between these 2 points is the actual absolute top dead center. And that's what we're going to set this thing to. So that is pretty darn close. So we should be able to remove our thing and turn this up to, and that should, I mean, we're within a half a degree. So let me get this out of here. So winding this back to 0 and half a degree, which will be pretty hard to tell, will be our absolute top dead center. Right there. That is our absolute top dead center. So we're good there. We've got this thing set to absolute top dead center. Once we've established top dead center, Now we have to operate the valve gear and find the center line of the lobe, the intake lobe for number 1 cylinder. Now, normally on a V8, you would just stick a dummy lifter in it and stick your dial indicator down in there, and you could measure the lifter. On this overhead cam engine, we have to measure it right at the valve, because you can't put the plunger of the dial indicator on the cam lobe unless you can exactly, precisely plot where the center of this roller is, and we can't do that. So we need to put some valve gear on and put the plunger against the retainer on the intake valve. Now, the problem with that is we've got a big variable here, a hydraulic lifter. We have to make this into a solid lifter, so we got to find some way to make some kind of a dummy lifter for this, or see if we can unhydraulic this one. So, how we do that, this is the little swivel ball. That comes off easy. You just get something in there and you just pop it off. We'll need that again after. Then, you just grab the lifter with a pair of pliers, and it says here it should come out. Goodness gracious, I just got it out a second ago. So to get this thing out, I drilled a hole through the top and knocked it out with a little punch. This darn clip has got something to do with it, because this thing, I tell you, it was in there like nobody's business, like all get out. I think what happens over time, the little clip kind of wears a groove in there, and it sticks to the groove. Now, inside here, you've got your plunger and your little spring. See? That's what we want to avoid, is that it gets full of air and stuff. So we can just take this stuff out and get rid of it completely. I went ahead, I drilled and tapped the top of our rocker, 1/4 and used this long Allen bolt as an adjuster. And here is our lifter body. The plunger and spring and everything are gone. And now we're just going to snap our little ball follower, or whatever you want to call, onto there. And now we can put this thing back on the rocker shaft. We're at top dead center on the compression stroke. So these valves should be on the base circle. You can see here this one's got a little lash. This one does not. So what we need to do is back off this, and you can see the dial gauge there. So you can see there, we've got a little lash. How much isn't really important. We need a little lash. What we need to do now is zero our dial indicator. You can see there, it's sitting on the valve retainer, the valve spring retainer. Now we're going to wind this thing around and see what is the maximum valve lift that we can attain. There we are, bottom dead center. Now the exhaust valve is going to open as it comes back up. Now we'll start seeing the intake valve open. So here we go. There's 100 thou. There's 200 thou. Let's see what we get. 250, 260, 270, 300, 400, There we go. So we're counting backwards. So we've got 300 and 10, 20, 3, you can say 28. Right now, let's just make sure it doesn't go up anymore. No, it's starting to go down. So I did it all again, and now that everything is settled, our maximum valve lift is 325. So 310 or 300, it doesn't really matter where you are, so long as you mark down that where you are on the crankshaft. So we're going to start all over again here. Got this thing top dead center firing. So here we go. A 100, 200, oops, 300. And at 300, you can see there we are at exactly 80 degrees past top dead center. So there we go. 80 degrees at 300. So now we'll take it back. There's 300 again. So before we were at 80 degrees, now we're at 90, and let's see here, 100, 110, 120, 125, 128. So here's what we could tell about this. The difference between 128 and 80 is 48. Half of 48 is 24. So if we add 24 to 80 or subtract 24 from 128, we end up with 104. And you have to remember the intake center line of this camshaft is 108. So that means this camshaft is installed 4 degrees advanced, which is not what we want, because what that is going to do is give it a more low end. We want this thing to work from the middle up. So we have to change our sprocket here. What we want to do is change this so it's at 112. So that'll mean that the camshaft is retarded 4 degrees, and that will promote upper RPM performance. So what I've done is loosen these 5 screws, and we're going to just give this a couple of little bangs our wrench and see if we can get this to move. So this time when we reach 300 thou of lift, we are at 82 degrees. So this time our result was we got to 300 lift at 82 degrees and 130. Difference again, 48 degrees. That's always going to be the same. Half of that is 24. Add to 82 is 106. So we're still not even at straight up yet. We'll try again. All right, let's see what we've got this time. 1 whole turn. And then let's get this thing going up. There's 100, 200, coming up to 300 now. And that occurs at 86 degrees. Now we'll take it back around. Here we go. And it's back down to 300 at 134 degrees. So if we do the math, that is a difference of 48, like it always is. Half of 48 is 24. We add 24 to 86, or subtract 24 from 134. We're at 110 degrees. So we now have our camshaft retarded 2 degrees. I'm going to see if I can get 2 more. It may be a little bit dicey, but I'll give her a try. Okay, I think we've got it now. Let's go around and around. Now we're going to run this thing up to 300 of lift. There's 2. And we get 300 at 88 degrees. I marked that down. I did this already. I'm just checking it again to show you. So now we're going to go back all the way up to maximum lift. And then back down to 300. And we're at 136. The difference, of course, is 48 degrees. Half of that is 24. Add 24 to 88 or remove it from 136 and you get 112. So this is now 112 degrees after or before top dead center? After, pardon me. The center line of the intake lobe is 112 degrees after top dead center, which is 4 degrees retarded, which will give us top end power, and that's what we're after. So we'll wind it back around now to top dead center. There we are. And you can see there that the mark on the cam is off quite a bit from the mark on there. That's how much we've retarded the camshaft. So anyway, hopefully that's not going to throw the synchronous light. It keeps track of the synchronization between the camshaft and the crankshaft. And if it doesn't like what it sees, it'll throw the light. It doesn't derate the engine or nothing. You're still good to go. But it's just an annoying light you have to look at. So that's good. We can get all this stuff off of here and carry on with our build. Well, that was interesting. Now we know how to do that. The next one I want to do, I would like to get a pair of adjustable cam gears for a twin cam neon engine, and I want to get the degree wheel on that, because once you have 2 camshafts, you can adjust them independently of each other. So basically, you can vary the lobe separation angle, LSA, which on a single camshaft or a V8 camshaft, we can't do anything about. It's ground into the cam, and that's permanently set. But on a twin cam engine, you definitely can vary the lobe separation angle, as well as once you've got your lobe separation angle established, you can do this. You can advance or retard those camshafts together. You can advance one camshaft and not the other. There's all kinds of stuff we can do. I'll have to do a little research first and look for a pair of gears, and we'll try doing that on a twin cam engine. I've got a few of them kicking around here. Anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in. Together we learned how to degree the cam on a single overhead cam engine. And this is what we did today, even though it was specific to the neon engine. In general terms, the exact same procedure will degree the cam on any single overhead cam engine. Anyway, that'll do it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you'll tune in next time. And until we meet again, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks and so long.